Can I come outside ever without having the welcoming party here? There's been this recent trend going around different social media platforms. When you have water troughs that look like that or like that, they say to do one of two things. Some say one goldfish will take care of the algae in 750-gallon tank. I don't believe that, but I went out and bought 3. Now, I want a comparison to see if any of those work. So I actually found these copper fittings laying around. These 2 tanks are exactly the same size, and I'm going to take and clean them out in one tank. I'm going to put these copper fittings. In the other tank, I'm going to put these 3 feeder goldfish. I don't think there's any way in the world one little goldfish can eat that much algae. We're gonna give it a shot. So I'm gonna empty this one first and clean it out. If I just dump this, sometimes it goes right under the barn there. Gonna turn that one sideways. I'm just gonna go ahead and dump this one. That one's pretty clean. We gotta get this one cleaned out a bit. All right, those both look equally clean to me. So we're gonna go ahead and top these things off. And I remember from having a little goldfish when I was a kid to set them in there in the bag to let the water get to the same temperature. And then I'm gonna put in a few rocks. That ought to be a pretty good hiding place. It doesn't hurt dogs to drink out of this, but sometimes I close this gate and then the sheep come out here. So Beans, Casper, and the sheep sometimes drink out of this. I'm not gonna fill this all the way up just because I don't want those fish jumping out. So I have no idea the science behind why copper would prevent algae from growing. Like I said, I would clean that tank probably about every 2 weeks or so, especially now that it's getting a little warmer, but we're supposed to get rain for the next 4 days. So it might take a little longer because fresh water will be added to that from the rain. Speaking of that, it's starting to rain right now. I'm gonna mix just a little bit of this water in here with it, let them get accustomed to it. If there's no algae in there now, I don't know what they're gonna eat. There's a little bit of, I just pulled this out of the trash, a few. I'll put some in there just to make it more scientific. All right, there we go. They can hide under those rocks if any raccoons or skunks or whatever come by. They're about equally filled, so we'll keep that updated. And I want to get this gator brought in, so I'm just gonna pull that trailer by the gooseneck and just make a little bit of room. A neighbor come by and said he was bored. Cleaned this whole tree line out, which if you've never bush hogged a tree line, what he's doing is priceless. So then you can run the tractor right along that fence line instead of backing it up to get under all them limbs. It gets pretty steep right there. We got a bunch of rain yesterday, so it's not real dry. He said he was worried about tearing up the grass. I said the grass will grow back. That could never be done with a tractor and a bush hog. A couple of videos ago, I went and got these silver fox rabbits. This is by far, turned out to be my favorite one. Cosmos is his name. So Cosmos, Smokey. So there's Smokey. She's pretty nice. And then here's the new buck. I call him Woody. And over here we have our meat birds. They're 3 weeks old, I think. So you see they're starting to put on their feathers. So after this next 4 days of rain, they might be ready to go out by then. I'll just have to look at the temperature. I ordered 25. I think I lost 2. So that's not horrible. And I actually drove to get these rather than shipping them, because shipping costs have just skyrocketed. It's ridiculous. There's a hatchery just about 20 minutes from here, so I just drove quite a bit easier that way. Well, today's the day. The old chickadees are going outside. Gonna give them a little food. I'm going to start these where I'm going to extend the garden next year. So I'm gonna go mow a little bit of that down. It's been thinned out. I put the goats in there also. I don't necessarily like doing this, but for the sake of time, I don't have time today to pick up each one of those chicks, put them in the crate to move them up front. I'm just gonna get the forks on my tractor and do it that way. And part of the reason I feel comfortable using the tractor to move those chickens is I had the tractor running in there spreading that gravel. So they're kind of used to the hum of the tractor. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm gonna turn the idle all the way down, and this thing is pretty quiet. I can turn it down to that. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise, so they should be okay. I'll just take it nice and slow. All right. And then towards the end of last year, I ran another batch of 20 chickens through here. I didn't put any of that on camera, but I just made dog food out of them. So I never emptied this tub or brooder, shall we say. So I'm gonna dump this in the compost once I get these birds out of here. And that feeder, I should have actually already swapped them out, but I was filling that 3 or 4 times a day. So these birds are getting pretty big. Chickens don't like real tall grass, especially these are on the smaller side. As that grass grows, the chickens will grow, and I shouldn't have to cut it anymore. Might trim it one time for that last week of moves before we process them. Stay open, gate. The wind's picking up a little bit. I wouldn't do this on a new gate, but this gate is shot anyhow. Things must have that pole lined up. And I've been giving these guys handfuls of grass several times a day, so it won't be a real harsh transition. All right. It's always an exciting day when this happens. Okay, we're gonna get them a bigger waterer and a bigger feeder. Casper. Well, it does look like I'm gonna have to move them tomorrow. I was hoping to get one more day out of it. There you go, Casper. And that's how they keep goats away from their food. So when these guys are small, well, really anytime, but I like to keep them pretty near Casper so we don't have any shenanigans out here during the wee hours of the morning. There's 2 weeks with a few copper teas in there. There's the same amount of time with 3 baby goldfish that I paid 38 cents a piece for. Save your $1.72 and invest it in copper. All right, well, I guess that'll wrap it up for this video. We found out, at least in black water troughs, you know, I haven't seen the sheep. Maybe they're out in the shade in the woods. We at least know in black water troughs that copper works better than goldfish in keeping algae from growing in your water tank. But as always, Thanks for watching. Hey, Beans.